Hello, everybody. Hello. Good day. It's a very good day. How you doing? Welcome to a new live stream. Let me turn on my microphone. I think it's a little hot. Turn you down. I did a little cranking over here too high. So it's fine. Hey, welcome. My name's John Limcool. This is going to be an interesting live stream because I don't like to do this. I apologize ahead of time, but I'm going to tease you guys with two libraries that are not available yet. But they will be shortly when I start the sale. I've got some more work to do to wrap these up. They're coming along really nicely. As you can hear in the background, you're hearing just an element of one of them. And I'll show you more in a minute. Oh, wait, I don't want to. I'm doing something on the other computer monitor. I should never multitask. Skippy is not good at multitasking, let me tell you. Let's do that, and let's go home. I just want to point out this video is sponsored by my website. I gotta go here and say, don't show that. Pluginguru.com, there we are. Hello, pluginguru.com. Black Friday's not here yet, so there's no Black Friday sales. I'm kind of a old school. I think Black Friday should be on Friday. I'm actually conceding a little bit and giving it 2 more days for the sale. But it's oh, that's still too hot. I hear a little breakup. I don't want to hear breakup. So there's big sales, biggest discount of the year. On the sale, I'm going to have some new bundles. And I'm going to have 2 new libraries. And so I'm going to show them to you in this live stream. This is one of them. This is Recycle. Let's bring up the ARP synth. It's a techno-electronic based library. And it's called Recycle because I sampled this little guy. This is my Electron Cycles. I think I can actually come over here to Logic, and if I push the right buttons, I should be able to get it to play. So I sampled this, and it's a really cool box. It's based on FM with different, there's 7 or 8 different patches that are here's a snare, here's a hi-hat, here's a kick, here's a chord kind of thing, and then you have a whole thing. It's kind of simple FM. It's not, you can't get into too wild and so forth like that, but it makes some really, really cool sounds. And so I sampled the daylights out of it and have over 400 samples to give you. So you can do things like kind of stuff. And I actually, check this out, the pattern. So I have some chord things. Play it really loud. It sounds really good. I've been blowing my ears out. Then I go back to the other pattern. So I'm going to show you how I made this in a bit. Let me show you the library, just kind of the layout of it and stuff like that. Now, there's no big synth sounds like this in Cycle. That's Unify. That's me playing OBXD and 2 Guru samplers full of beautiful samples from libraries of mine that are part of Unify that are included, and then MIDI box playing a MIDI file going da 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 da. So when you play one note, get this, you know. Some other examples you can hear of what you can get out of this. So those of you asking for electronics, give me some dance stuff to play with. Here you go. Berlin. Oh, let me get to the, where is it? Bossy Berlin. This is really fun. Probably should be a little bit faster. I'm an old guy, so me doing like the music that the 20-year-olds are doing is kind of funny, but you know, I do it. I can do it. Anyway, there's some really cool patches. There's Techno Fashionistas. All the nice, lovely reverb and all that kind of stuff. There's 7 menus of drum samples that... Right? So there's... menu 7 actually is just of a drum kit, so there's no bass. And the reverb is from Electron. If you hear reverb, you know, it's all there. On top of this, I've made over 50 BPM drum grooves. So you can go like Suspicious and Drive. If it's large caps, that means it's a 4x4. If it's not, it's something else. More typically urban street kind of stuff, pop things, what we're hearing on the radio. You know? So Electron can do these kind of sounds. So anyway, it's really exciting. Yes, so this will be out on Wednesday. And there's more. I can't tell you about this library in particular, but it's really, really cool. Anyway, there's all the basses. Really cool. You know, so cool basses, cool synths. There's a ton of chord hits that are... And there's a bass you can turn on for all of these. You can also play these as chords and so forth. It's really, really fun. Some really cool keys. And again, one of the reasons why I did this and why Cycles is such a great candidate for a library like this is A, it's synthesis based, so I'm not sampling samples, so I'm not getting any copyright issues. But also, it's really hard to play polyphonically because it's one sound per track, and there are ways to get it to kind of. But here I can sample it, and I can play. Play it like a keyboard, you know, which is nice. So it's a great candidate. So I sampled all sorts of cool sounds. So this is library number 1. The second library is kind of going to be a rebirthing of a library. Because a lot of you didn't get it. It's actually one of the lowest selling Omnisphere libraries that I released. And it's one of my favorites. And that was Creature-esque. And it's because I called it Creature-esque. I think a lot of people shied away from it. Like, I don't need creature sounds. And so I was walking my dog earlier this week. And I was going, well, it's got such incredible vocals. It's just such a really cool thing for the pad library for vocals. And so Vocal-esque is the name of it now, and it has so many cool places it can go. Let me show you some of the really cool, like, oh my gosh, things. So you can do things like this. It can do beautiful. Just such beautiful sounds. When you get down here into some of the Vox things, like these Latin and the Latin Mega Magics and so forth, are so cool because Kathy sang Latin phrases with melodies, and then I use Melodyne to remove the melody. So when you play a note, she's still singing the Latin phrases, but there's no pitch changing. So you can now play these. You get this syllabic, really magical stuff. And then you take something like this. I haven't made this patch yet, but I will. But you layer this with like the crescendos. And you just get this really beautiful pad library. Just the most beautiful stuff. So this will be coming out on Wednesday as well. There's little solo ones as well as like a. This is dry. Then I also have it with processing Mega Magic. That's the MM at the end of the name. And this is not looped, so they fade out. And then there's also looped. Isn't that cool? Cool stuff. Isn't that cool? It's just such a cool library, and so many didn't pick up on this because it was in a library that had, you know, doom and death, all these other sounds. So that's I pulled all of that out and focusing just on there's some new, like the Sleepy Time is a new, really beautiful. Multiple samples. Amazing. So this will be coming out on Wednesday as well. So two lovely, lovely libraries, and they work really well together. Having a cool techno groove and stuff like that with pads is just perfect. So there might be some bonus patches made, I think, you know. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad I read that. So if we go to, let's see, I haven't made a lot of these types of things. There's a lot still to do. I've got a lot to do in 4 days. Let's see, if we go back to recycle, I could go to one of these really cool. Now, I had an email from someone that asked a question that we want to talk about today a little bit. I want to share a little thought. So their question was, I'm sure I'm not alone with wishing there was a patch preview in Unify. And we have thought about that, and we haven't implemented that because it's a huge amount of work to do that. But also there's a workaround already inside of Unify. See, the thing with a patch preview is you would have to define specific categories and stick to those categories. And if you know me, I don't like to stick to categories. It's not my forte. Also, it's one of those things where, like, what is it now? Is it a MIDI file? And do I make like a generic bells MIDI file? And now every patch in the bell category has to sound good with that. You know, it gets to be like, or you do the native instruments thing where they've actually recorded audio of every patch. And that's just, you know, that's 3 months of my life doing nothing but making clips of all these patches that exist. And I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. I have to release a library pretty much every month to help keep money coming in to pay for my house, for my food. That's how we roll here. So I can't stop and spend 3 months, you know, on preset audio for existing. I mean, especially I did this. This is like, there's some of the unified libraries here, but if you go to all these libraries, there's like 9,000 patches. It's huge. What do we need to have for these two libraries? The two libraries only require Unify. 100% Unify, nothing else. And that stuff like that. That's where AI can help. I don't know. So here's the thing that is the workaround is that when you go to, say you want to add something, like say I have a nice vocal pad and I want to add something to this. Let's say I go to Dream State. Now, if I went to Dream State, if I had a little auto load, I could click the patches and preview them. But I'm not playing it with this, so I really don't know if it's going to work with this or not. For me, if you right click and say load into a new Unify layer, it's inside now where I can play the two. And I can tell immediately if it's going to work or not. If it doesn't work, you can either delete it by holding down Option and clicking right here, or even better, double click to open that Unify layer. I worked with Shane very closely on this to make it so that it went right to the library, right to the patch that you currently loaded, so that if it's not the right one, you have access to just click to change. And this is far more useful to me because I can really hear it in context. Like, oh, that'd be cool, but it's too loud. So there. I don't know that a preview where you can click and you can go through, I don't think you're going to get the same results as playing it with what you're currently working on. Now, if you're just trying to look for a song like bass or something like that, that's why I categorize them this way so that they all show up together. Unlike like Omnisphere, where you have no idea what you're going to get, whether it's a bass or not, there's no indication. That's how a lot of synthesizer patch libraries work. But I'm a fan of the way of working where when I go to recycle and I go to bass, I can just see my basses. Back in the Korg voicing days, we call this the producer style of doing things versus the presentation style of things. Like Omnisphere and some of these other synthesizers where they don't focus on that, they're all about presentation. And it's giving you like, oh, it's a surprise every time you call up a new patch and you don't know what you're going to get. But you can break down the categories, but their categories are a little not clear in some cases. Anyway, I like it to be just like, I'm getting bass, I'm getting drums, I'm, you know, that type of thing. So I've done things to the voicing as a compromise to not put in an auto load because I'm not a fan of auto load. I don't think it's that helpful. Hearing the sound and how someone's going to play it, sure, maybe that's helpful in some cases and stuff like that. But for the amount of work it would take Shane, we're working really hard on trying to work on some things for an update that is going to be really interesting. But it takes a long time. It's a huge amount of work. And I'd have to stop him from doing that work to do this work on to make, you know, we're not just can't do that. So if you have a patch, it's like, oh, I want to add something to this, just right click and say, or just set this to Unify layer, choose another patch. And if it's not the right one, open up this Unify layer. until you find the patch that works. You know, that's a lot easier, right? Yeah. So that's the thoughts behind that request, and I tried to answer that in an email reply, and hopefully I invited them to come to the live stream so we could see what's going on and show it to them. So those are the two libraries. So Wednesday we will have Recycle, which is dance, techno, basses, cool drums. You know, and you know, if there's time, I'll make some patches using this library at the end of the live stream. I was going to show you. We'll show you in a little bit, but I got to probably talk about the free libraries that I found this week. And then Vocalesque is these just ethereal, magical. Like if I want to make this a dancey thing, just go here. Dynamics, pump house. That alone makes it really cool, but you can go to rhythmic pulses. You get the idea. It's very, very fun. And again, if something doesn't work, what's really cool is check this out. So I've added audio effects to this Unify layer. And I go, that's not quite the right vocal thing. I want something else. I can still open up this Unify layer and change the patch and keep the audio effects up top in place. You know, so it's really kind of unique how Unify works. We thought about this a lot, and we've tried to make it as easy and without, you know, the auto load. I feel that's like I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but that's a very first grade auto helper thing. And it doesn't help because it plays it in one way. And to me, it's far more important you get the patch, just like it's kind of like Christmas every time you call up a patch, and then you get to play with it and discover what it can do. And if I just had it playing, and that's what it did every time you called up a patch, that wouldn't tell you the subtleties of when you play it and you listen to what it does. You gotta discover these sounds. So to me, it's far more important, and that means you need to play. So yes, you have to sit and play it, but you get so much more out of it. So again, on Wednesday, I'm going to do a live stream at this exact same time on Wednesday. We'll play with the libraries even in more depth. This will be probably at 125 patches. I'll be making all sorts of really cool composites. Here's a couple that I've done already. And I don't know if Wednesday we'll have, maybe on Sunday or Saturday we'll have Kathy join us. I'd like you guys to meet Kathy. Kathy Talbot is the voice of this library. She recorded these. And she's been a friend of mine for almost 30 years. She's the first person that I recorded voice into my computer. We did a song together. Let's see, I can find it on Spotify. I have an album on Spotify if you ever want to hear some of Skippy's music. all you have to do is search for Real Cool. And that's me. And I have, let's see, there's an album. There's a Christmas album that I did. And then Real Cool featuring is songs with friends of mine. And Where's Learning to Love? Right here. This was the first song that I recorded. Let's see, is this coming through the audio? It's not. Okay, so hold on a second. Loop back. We'll get loop back tied in. Go away. Why don't I have Spotify? Select applications, Spotify. Spotify is blacked out. How funny. Is it already here? Oh, it's here. So this is, there it is. This was recorded like 1990. It was when Logic Audio got audio input recording abilities. The first song we did. And it's Kathy singing. And so she used to sit behind me while I would spend hours tweaking. And she learned, watched, and she now does horror trailer music, trailers for films. And like American Horror Story and all these huge films, her trailer compositions with her voice processing and stuff is in them. It's just incredible. So I'll play you some of those when she's on the live stream so you can meet her. She will totally knock you guys on your butt. Her mixes are incredible. Her production is it's really awesome. And so she went from like being just a singer sitting behind in the room to like, you know, manning the helm of the computer and doing incredible things. So all of the voices in here, this is Kathy. Just awesome stuff. And again, these tweaks where she's saying phrases, these Latin ones, I love so much because they have... She was originally singing all sorts of melody intervals, but I use Melodyne to remove those. So now, you just have these vocals with this harmonic interest, things changing. It's really, really cool, really interesting. So this will be coming out on Wednesday, Vocalesque. And then the other library coming out is Recycle, which is again based on my little electron cycles. I bought this off Craigslist and played with it and realized I also have an Analog 4. Their stuff is very, very cool, but man, if you work with it for a while and then you don't work with it for a while and you come back to it, you have to like relearn how to use them. And so I was like, this would be perfect to do a library for. So all of the drums of Electron, I've sampled them into Unify, made all sorts of cool grooves. Dance things as well. There's over 50 grooves. These all come from 7 different menu sets. Basses and hits and stuff. You can use just the menu by itself if you're doing like really simple, minimal techno things. And if you want all of the synth sounds that you up here that you hear are pulled out as separate patches. And now you can play octaves, multiple notes, and not be like having to program with the little pads and stuff like that. Now, I want to point out, though, this is not a replacement for electron cycles. It's more like a demo of what electron cycles can do, because it is cool. It's synthesis based. So I'm taking a sample, and then anywhere else I play after that pitch, it's transposing that sample. So it doesn't have the same sound as if you do it inside of cycles. But it's cool. My face is a bit blur. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Let's see. That means I have to work with this little arrow thing back here on my camera. Tell the pointer to be right there, please. There, see if that works. It's auto-focusing and it's missing the subject. There. How's that? A little better? Sorry. Thank you. I appreciate notes like that so I can know what's going. I mean, we can do super wide. Ah! We're gonna zoom in. I'm using a Sony A7 III for my webcam. And so it's autofocus. It needs to have a focus point. And sometimes I get the Moog's in focus and I'm not. So thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. That's very helpful to know. Right? So there's cool things like that coming. Let me show you some of the BPM stuff that I've done already. And then we're going to make one after I show you the free stuff. So in a second, I'm going to show you the free stuff. So Bossy Berlin. This definitely needs to be faster. It should be like maybe 145. And this sound up here, let's see where. Needs more on it. So let's go. Let's have one thing that's cool with Unify is that so many of these plugins give you like one slot for one effect. We don't do that. So you can have as many audio effects in a chain as you want. So let's do this. Let's make this like a 16th note thing. There. That's not quite the right vibe, but that's better. And that snare, that needs to be gated. So let's see, what are we doing? So we have Dragonfly Verb. Let's get this sample to be shorter too, so we can get it shorter. There. And the hi-hats need to be a little louder. And it needs an upbeat, a little bit harder and stuff. So there's still work to do on this library. I'm still mixing as we go. So, but it's been really, really fun. A couple other examples. I love this one here. This is fun. More of the technical thing. That kind of vibe, so forth. We're gonna make something from scratch after I show you the free stuff. So let's do the free things. There's two free things to show you guys that came out this week that I thought were interesting. Number one is where is it? Vann Audio. They are a company. I haven't heard a lot about them, but they made some really interesting plugins. They made a free suite. And so here is the link. How much more content does Vocalesque have over Creaturesque? It has 6 multi-sampled vocal choir pads and a whole bunch of these really interesting syllabic phrases. We'll get more into that on Wednesday when the library comes out. But it's going to be at a price you can't say no to. So anyway, Vann Audio, did I paste this? Paste. They have a suite which has a really nice clipper. Their compressor is really great. The Convolve is a impulse response based reverb. The EQ is good. Delays, okay, just kind of standard delay. The tone, it's making a tone. Meter, I didn't play with the meter a whole lot, but I really like the compressor. That alone was really cool. So if we call up a groove, something like this would be really cool. So if we go Vann, here's their effects. Here's they have makeup gain. You can really get things to snap. Listen to that snap. That's great. Compared to here's with, I don't think they have a bypass button here, but if we bypass from this to that, very nice. A lot of compressors, some of the expensive ones you buy, of course, can do nice compression, but this is free. And you can see the envelope that it's doing and so forth. On top of this, the convolution is kind of interesting in that it doesn't give you any convolutions. So you can call it convolve and it didn't, there's no presets. So you have to use browse. I sent it over to, let's go to Unify's libraries. If you go to the standard library inside of Unify, all of the impulse responses that are used by Klangfalter are here. And ambiverb are standard reverbs. Noise verb are reverbs that are based on weird things. Breath, plastic bags, big and small. So if I say plastic here, that's me scrunching a plastic bag. And you can now you have these parameters inside of Klangfalter already, but this is part of their suite. And I just want to show you everything it has to offer for free. Let's see, the compressor, the clipper. They're big on this. They actually have some other things, but you can get into the broken kind of sounds. You have up to 32 times oversampling on the way that works. You have different types of compression, distortion. So you spin this knob. I might not be showing this right, but I thought I would hear a little bit more change. There's hard. It's a little bit different. Anyway, they're free. If I thought the compressor was worth it alone, just for the compressor, so I wanted to point that out to you guys. Let's see if there's anything else in their list to show you. The meter, it does LUFS as well as everything else, so you can see what's going on to get your levels for metering and stuff like that, as you're supposed to for mastering a mix. Anyway, it's a nice set. So just so you know, it's out there and available if you want. I put the link there. The other one that is available, let's see, let's bypass these guys, is from Crow Hill. They make string murmurations, which I showed last week. they first released this Attic Grand. Which has unique parameters for it. They now have an update, and all you have to do is use the arrow to change, or you can go here and I think see the list, and as they add more things, they will show up as little blocks. This is from the Crow Hill Company. Hill Vaults. Let's see here. Crow Hill. I should have done it directly, just right. Crow Hill Vaults. Free plugin. Here it is. This new one is called R&D Strings. Crow Hill Company. Here is the link in the chat. I believe it's about 800 megabytes. Basically, this is from the way that they've talked about this is the test patch, which turned into string murmurations, where they have a nice strings. And then if you play harder velocity, you'll get all sorts of misbehaving strings. Then they refined this. They re-recorded a different orchestra for the actual full string murmurations library. But the things that's nice about this, it has a glistening effect. And then Pris is to get you into your Blade Runner vibe. You can add stuff for a little more energy. Lots of reverb if you want. So for some of you might like this. There's nothing to unify because it's just a single patch. But there you go. Something free if you want some strings. And last week in the live stream, we covered string murmurations. If you want to go back and watch that to see what that can do, it's very interesting. All right. I want to play. So let's see. Let me see what the chat's saying. What are you guys talking about? Hi, Jim, for tuning in. All right, so somebody asked about what do we have over Creature-esque. So let me show you in Vocal-esque. I'm going to do a test. This is kind of a thing, work in progress. But we have these things that we created that called Doom Chants, which is a little ominous. This was originally supposed to come out for Halloween, so I'm trying to repackage it and make it something appealing for Christmas and Halloween. You know, that scary stuff. I don't think people really got, maybe some of you guys enjoyed that. I don't know, but we're keeping the name Doom Chant for now, but these are the light versions, so they're more airy and so forth. And it's basically syllabic.
Eat chocolate. Eat chocolate. Chocolate.
I have a little bit of work to some of the samples to shorten them a little.
Holy Ghost.
So you can make these patterns with all these syllables. And we actually have the dark version, which and we actually did 2 other levels above this to the point of screaming into the microphone. But it just doesn't match the vocal-esque vibe. But the idea is this. Let's see, how would I do this? Let's sequence this in Logic. So I have it doing something sort of a pattern. I think I can do this faster than if I was to try to do it. So I'm going to turn down this version of Unify so that we're playing with this version of Unify, which is inside of Logic. And I'm going to go over here to the idea is this. I'm going to make a phrase syllable thing that I'm going to then build into a pad with it integrated into it.
Eat so the hard ratings. Eat beat.
Something like that type of thing, right? So we first need to go up here and mute what I was working on. And
Call for grace. Eat hard scarce. Beat painful.
so this way I have this little tiny right? Let's see, I need something on the downbeat. So inside of, yeah, I gotta put that to quarter note. And then if I cycle that, let's have it cycle. So I have this phrase. I'm going to look at the notes really quick. There's a couple notes I think I can change around to get this to be a little bit more interesting. So pitchfork. We said pitchfork. So if it's saying that phrase, and then we build a something around that, let's see what happens. So let's call this phrase 1. One, and let me do this. We go copy and then export this as a MIDI file into Unify, into the Vocalesque library. I don't have a MIDI files folder, so I have to say MIDI files. And then let's say paste that name, phrase 1. Okay. So now we can go over here and turn this back off so show MIDI still works. And now over here on the Doom chance, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, give me a MIDI box. Let's go to Vocalesque, libraries, Vocalesque, MIDI files, phrase 1. Now I'm going to set this instead of polytranspose. I'm going to say play only. So now it's playing that MIDI file. Now, to make it so you can't tell what it's saying exactly, let's say saw down. So if we have these things happening in the background, this is an experiment. I actually haven't made one of these yet. I've played around a little bit with this, but let's say put delay on this. say another effect layer. Let's use from Guru Sampler, Plucky Klamath, Blue Art. Let's just click. Not a dance chord, but I think once I fix some of the samples, this little plucky part to have a little motion to it, so we're going to put a filter. Cool. Yeah, so it's kind of the idea. And again, there's some phrase samples I can edit a little bit to get the timing to be a little bit better. And we can even go to here, use a little bit. Say we use like sidechain 3. Something like that would be really cool. Let's see, let's go to Unify Standard, Flex EQ. Give a little bit more energy to work with. So the idea is to have these like vocal elements that I'll make a whole bunch of these that are just having these vocal motion things happen that I think is really interesting. That I haven't done anything like this before, and I haven't seen many libraries that do this. There are vocal phrases for like Latin and choirs and stuff, but to do it in this type of a way to be integrated as a rhythm element, I think is kind of fun. So let's see, let's call this not a doom chant anymore. BPM pad heartbeat, because you hear heartbeat clearly. All right, we'll just call it heartbeat for right now, and then I'll keep working on this for the final release, of course. So save as. So that's the idea. pretty fun. So there's a whole bunch of patches in that type of a direction to make. Hopefully you guys like that. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Put pink in this. What do you think of the new scalar EQ? I don't know. I haven't used it, so I don't have any comment on scalar EQ. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys was in here. I made a patch. Got it done this morning. Summer fun, Sumver. I want to show you how I made this, and then we're gonna make a similar one. So if this is boring to you guys, I'm sorry, but I love the program, and I feel like making patches. I have a whole bunch of patches I have to make till Wednesday, so I want to show you how we do it. So this is based on first creating this inside of my DAW, because I had to save out MIDI files for each of these layers. The kick, and I want this to be louder. I always want everything louder. It's really funny. The most important thing to this is you have to be able to turn it down really soft, and that the kick still is the principal thing you hear. That's the goal with most of today's dance music, is the kick has to be more important than everything else. It has to really hit you, you know, type of thing. So that's better. So how do we make these? Let me show you. So check this out. If I turn this guy down, see ya, and we go over here to Unify, you'll see that I have these tracks here, which when I unmute and cycle like this, that's what I created. There's something, this new update to Logic is driving me crazy because it does some really weird things. Like I can now select like this and still keep tracks armed, which it used to not do. And it's messed up all sorts of things. And I've been talking to the guys at Logic a little bit about this, and they're looking at some things about it because it's very troublesome at times. But it's weird. I had the audio passing through and audio passing through. I can't play and I can't talk and sequence at the same time. Okay. So the idea is that you create, I used inside of this library, there are menus as well as the all-in-one drum kit where it's kicks and snares and hats and stuff like that across the keyboard, right? So if we go, I made it down here. Test, keep this on. I have a menu of kicks. Snares, hi-hats, claps. And this is the bass that I created for this track, but we'll use let's see. Have you saved Have I used VPS Avenger? I have. It's very nice. They do not need any plugin guru help. They are doing fine just on their own. That's nice. So we will start with that. So for this one, I want to do more of the traditionalist upbeat thing. So let's see. Let's mute our phrase because we don't need that anymore. Let's see here. Da-ba-ba. Right? And let's see. Let's mute these guys here. I'm going to go commit, and then I'm going to bring this kick down here. You recorded audio of me playing my keys. That's nice. Very nice. Now I'm going to transpose around to find the kick pitch that I want. So I hit, let's see, let's go like this. That's nice. I like that. So see how it's still recording armed on the bass, but I'm playing the hi-hats so I hear both at once. And if I record, I'm recording on the bass track, not on the hi-hat track. So it's very confusing how they do this. There we go. That's a nice one. That's all you. This stuff is so easy because it's so basic in some senses. It's the vibe once you start putting things together that's so fun. So let's get to the hi-hats and get rid of that note. Shorten that. Get these all to be 127. And double it. Wait, I only got. There we go. And the bass we can also double. Let's go up here. This might not be so fun to watch. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still debating whether we should keep doing this. What do you think? Should we keep building? You're supposed to be upbeats. And let's do this. Do some shortcuts. And shorten these guys. Let's see, these should be 16th notes. So quantized 16th notes. Why are you doing that? Oh, I know what it is. And I can do, there's another cool trick. If you go Command 7, you can change the duration on one and go Shift V, and it changes the duration on everything selected. So we can shorten those guys up. Let's see if we want to keep doing this. Techno in itself, it's once you get to the synth parts and stuff that it gets interesting. So let's do this. Let's say double this track. go up here, Unify. Yeah. So we want to be on this track for recording and not on this track. Let's go to this library. I want to make something using an arpeggiator pattern on one of the pluck sounds. Let's go arpeggiators. Let's try blue arp. I'm just gonna cycle through. My actually favorite is to go to step type and make them random, because then it's looking at the notes you actually play. And let's see, let's go to the programming parameters. Sounds exciting, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we'll program something else different than this type of thing, because this is it takes a lot of time to go through and find the elements and put them together to make what ends up being, you know, one of these things. So let's just make a Unify patch real quick. There. So if I like rebuild this, there should be a BPM phrase now. Where did I put the one that we just made? A BPM pad. Huh. I have to find where that ended up going. It might have to go into recycle. BPM pad. No? Okay, well, I'll find it because I saved it somewhere. It's inside of Unify? Huh. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, so let's do this. And if you have questions, pop them up while you're going. I'll look over and see what's going on. But let's do this. Let's make some sort of really cool, just a synth layered thingy. Let's do it from that summit that I was playing with. Load. I'm gonna use blue arp again. Let's say to just see what we can get going on. And if we have this combined with something like this, is a really cool pattern. But we want it to be playing. Let's have this go to noise box for this one, or MIDI box. Duh. Libraries, cycle MIDI files. I put a whole bunch of MIDI cycles in here, including Octave things from the harp library, believe it or not, because they work really cool for the arps. These are one note things. Do I want one note things? I don't think I want one note things. I want to have, yeah, those won't work. So let's go out here to the standard library because it's got some things that I can use. If you're making patches that you're going to share, just as a tip, you can always go to the standard library. Anything inside the standard library, everybody else, you all have. So you can go to all of these different folders of grooves that are here, and there's some really fun things to play with that, yeah, when it's a pad and you're playing something really fast, you might need to adjust your pad. This is what I say, unipolar. And in something like this where it's repetitive, this is where random sample starts really cool. It just makes it sound more alive because it's random sample starts means it's a different starting point in the sample for each note played. So that sounds so much better than... Depends on what you want. If you want to just be the same static thing, I'm a little bit more into adding life to electronics. Let's take these down an octave. And the reason this works so well is because one is doing something that's a little bit more predictable, where the MIDI box part, it's not going anywhere. Whereas the other one, it's random based. So you put the two together. You got this really cool thing. And if we want to add some effects, there's some rather powerfully cool. And if you want your delays to stand out, you can go over here to the power curve and add a little distortion. If you want more glue to the whole thing, this is where, again, the Unify standard library, or using one of the plugins that's built into Unify. So if we go add instrument, empty layer, and you click right here and go Unify standard, I have access to all these instruments. So I could say OBXD is a great choice. DX if I wanted some FM. Maybe I'll do some FM. That'd be fun. Go to the cartridges, and we got to do some surfing because I have way too many banks of FM synths. Let's see if any of these show anything. Ian. Not quite the right vibe yet, but there we go. Now it might sound stark right now, right? But watch what we can do to this. Let's add chorus. So we go standard, modulation, silky chorus. About 40%. Slow this down. Let's play with the envelopes a little bit. So we go to DX. Let's take a look. So we got to get on our FM cap, right? So we look at the algorithm, and operators 1 and 3 are the guys we're hearing. Everything else is modulating 1 and 3. So if I turn off 3, I'm now only hearing 1 and 2. And I'm going to go to the EG, and I'm going to slow down this part. That slows down the attack. It works the opposite of operators and stuff. You know, normally you bring decay to a shorter value to make a shorter decay. For FM, it's the opposite. You slow down the envelope by slower rates. So it's the opposite of an analog synthesizer envelope. That's what confuses people all day long. And then I'm going to slow this down. and have this do more like this type of thing. EG level down. Slow, slow. So slow rate and not quite so much level. Okay, we're getting there. Now the feedback is on 2, so if I bring up, oh, the feedback's at 7 already. Now let's add 3. So most of the sound was made from 1 and 2 operators. Okay, so now that we have that growth in here, now it needs to open and splash and like fade out everywhere. So let's go to reverb, water verb, which has some really nice motion in it as well. A little bit faster, so let's speed this up just a little bit and this up a little bit. Told you we could make this work. This is nice. So here it is without silky chorus and water verb. Still kind of nice. Let's do this. Let's get back in our effects. And then because we are in dance land, everything is rhythmic in dance land. So everything needs pump house. Just kind of an automatic thing. Let's do this. Let's go like half and go up here to the presets. Rad waves. If you own the Rad Waves library, you get these additional bonus, really cool shapes. Then I'm going to take this whole thing and duplicate it. And instead of DX, let's go over here to OBXD. And let's get some sort of cool detune. Quite so loud. let's have it grow like the FM. I like the growth. So let's say. So what should we call this? It's getting there, yeah. Let's do this. I'm gonna put a little. Let's see, can we pop this out of what it's doing? I think we can pop this out. So let's go like this. Go over here and say replace with embedded instrument 1. This takes it out from being a Unify layer to just keeping layer 1 and getting rid of everything else. So we go replace with layer 1. Oh, and I lost my blue art that was doing it. Oh, shoot. Oh, we'll get that back. Arpeggiators, MIDI box, and that was inside of here. And I think it was steady 16th, right? Down an octave. Right, it stays. Does not drop. Oh, this is too slow. That's cool. Little splash goes away. So what should we call this? I think I got to use Summit in the name. Let's call it BPM Pad Apex Summit. How's that? Work in motion. BPM pad. And then I'll fill out all the details. Save as. Save. Cool. And we went back to where we started from. But if we go to BPM pad, we should find it. Yeah, BPM pads are missing. It's so funny. Oh, if I do that, it's going to take forever. Summit to love. There is love in there. Anyway, thank you for joining. I hope this was helpful and educational in some ways to you guys. It's always fun to make new libraries. Triumph Summit. That would be good. Let me see here. What was going on? BP. We're in recycle. BPM. There we go. Apex Summit. Cool. So, Yeah, so this will be out on Wednesday along with Vocalist. And I believe if I go here, I should have a BPM pad show up now that we made. Yeah, heartbeat. Yeah. Okay, kind of cool. Like if we took that, we would go to recycle. Apex Summit. And let's get some sort of a cool yeah. They work. So they do work together. I haven't put them together yet. Like, and again, if I don't like that drum groove, I can open this up and go, oh, let's try Suspicious or Tech and Drive. Or Drive. Ever get to the stage where you load a file and instantly tells you which libraries you are missing? Oh, happy 45th anniversary, Andrew. Yes, that's awesome. Will Unify ever get to the stage where you load a file and it instantly tells you which libraries you're missing? Well, I doubt that. Anytime you guys ask for a feature, I have to think about how much time it will take Shane to implement something like that. And it's A, it's a huge amount of work. And B, I don't know if it's that, when I'm building these libraries, I am purposefully segregate them just to, except for the bonus patches that we do and stuff like that. Those sometimes I do get carried away, but that's my responsibility to put into the comment section of the patch what libraries you need. But that would be a huge amount of work for solving a problem that just a few people experience, Jim. So I doubt if that will happen. Good. Post-grad seminar. Yeah. So I love to show what I do. I have no hides. I've worked in synthesis for so long that every person has a voice. And the more you learn the tools, the more your voice will come out. And so your voice is different than my voice, which is different than Howard Scar's voice, different than anybody else's voice. And every voice deserves to be heard. And it's interesting. You'll learn things. So I want to share everything I know, because the main things you guys need to learn are the tools. And once you have the tools, then you know where you can go and what you can do and all that kind of stuff. So happy to share any of that stuff all the time. Always, 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 always. Let's do our shout outs. Thank you for joining. It's been really, really fun. Shout out from, it's actually really sunny. I'm really excited. I'm going to take my dog to go eat my favorite sandwich. Sunny. Unformatted format. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it will tell you. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're talking about specific plugins, it will tell you. If it's talking about libraries, in some cases you're going to have to open Guru Sampler, and then the library name will be red, So then you'll know that you're missing that sample or something like that. So it does tell you in some ways already if you're missing a library. If I was to pull out the samples for this, it would say that these samples are missing, you know, type of thing. So look at that. Netherlands, Glasgow, Colorado, Arizona, Ken up in Camino Island. Yes, sunny up there too. Good, good. We always have to keep in touch on our West Coast. It rains so much more in Washington than down here in Oregon. France, Wales, Germany. I love it. I love it. It just makes my heart so happy each week that we get to say shout outs from everywhere in the world all at once and hang out and make sounds. Cool. It was so good. It's distorting a little bit, but we could turn this down. Bring everybody down. Let's check our test. Yeah, so for this one, I would have the kick needs more definition. You can hear. So if we were to go over here to Vann, that new compressor. Here I got more snap all of a sudden. Now when I turn this up, that kick, that's great definition. Another cool technique I've been experimenting with is to do this. Go to EQ Filter Max, put yourself a high pass that stops at about 30 in the 30s. See all that sub? Check out the difference between that and that. And then after this, check this out. This is crazy. You can go filter like Flex EQ at like 120. Check this out. And you can fill out just the 120 range and it doesn't go deeper. Because it's only EQing. Filter Max has cut out all that dangerous sub-frequencies because of the curve that it has at about 20 to 30 hertz. So then you can put Flex EQ after this. Then turn it down to the mix. So you can do some really interesting things with effect combinations to limit certain frequencies and then emphasize other ones. I had this at like this. And then go to Filter Mac and bring that sounds really nice. Oh, the other thing I should show you. This is really cool. Check this out. We're going to lose this patch. Bye-bye patch. Beautiful. But check this out. I added a really cool, tricky effect onto all the drum grooves with the delay plus reverb. I have a really cool chain here. So that when you bring this up, the first half is just delay. Once you get to here on up, it's playing with a Filter Max. It's a high pass, right? Yeah. Check this out. I mean, some really cool stuff. Especially tied in with the reverb. Right? So there's all sorts of really cool things. The other thing that's really cool to the drum grooves in this is on the third page, there's a low and a high note filtering range. So you can quickly get rid of the kick. Just based on the low note masking. If I want to get rid of the high frequency stuff, just keep the snare. That's fun snare. There's the snare. Bring down the high note. So you can really easily filter out with these different grooves. Maybe I just want to have the kick from this one, so just bring this down. Actually, I have to go into... Anyway, I'd have to load as a Unify layer, but you get the idea. So there's masking with mods and stuff like that, so you got cool stuff to do. Cool shout outs. Good to see you all. Hey, Fred. Hello, brother Fred. Jim, sorry if you said this, but is this a communal patch for us? So I'll give you a little glimpse of something. The Recycle library will be a community library. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to make a bonus library for yourselves starting next Wednesday for Christmas. We're going to make ourselves our own Christmas present of patches with all these really, really cool Recycle patches. So yes, there will be a community type of a thing involved here, right? So more details will come. I'm still working out some of the details of how to facilitate this. There's a lot more I'm not telling you about. I'm so proud of myself for keeping my mouth shut about the free. Oh, see, I can't talk or I'm going to say something. Anyway, there's all sorts of stuff. Hi, Daniela. Welcome. Good to see you. So there's 2 libraries coming next Wednesday. Big sales on everything at the site. Everything will be on sale. But for 5 days only. So you only have 5 days. I'm not doing these guys that just like, you know, hey, we have all month the discount. That's not how we roll. Got 5 days. Take it or leave it, you know? And no rain checks. No rain checks. If you miss that 5-day window, I'm telling you ahead of time. That's it. That's it. It's the biggest sale of the year for 5 days. Period. So grab them while you can during that time, okay? All right. Thank you all for joining. It's been really, really fun. I really love the new stuff we made. This patch. I'm gonna refine this, and then we got some more work to do. A whole bunch more patches like this. But this whole heartbeat kind of an idea is really cool. That's so cool. Love that. I gotta do it one more time. Recycle. Yeah, so fun. So they all work together. Vocal library, drum, groove, synth, bass, dance library, and the synth, bass, dance library. You guys get to all make patches for yourselves for Christmas. So we'll make a bonus library, a community library, okay? So it's gonna be really, really fun. More details to come as we continue getting closer to that time. So everything gets started next Wednesday, okay? Thank you for watching. Hands together, head bowed. Appreciate you all.